All right, my friends, we are here at the premier renovated Maximum AV home theater store in Tampa. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Hey, my friend Gabe Martinez.
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, I'm a Mexican, don't speak Spanish.
He don't speak no hablo español.
No hablo español, en inglés, por favor. That's all I got.
Guys, I am really excited to be here with Gabe and with Gary. You know, people think home theater stores are dead. I think I should have you educate them otherwise.
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of people in this industry think there's like no showrooms available, right? They think, oh, consumer direct is the new trend. I want to buck that trend by showing people what's possible. Because at the end of the day, if you haven't heard it, why do you buy it?
I agree. You know, there's nothing like having tactile experience with a product. Like we talk about buying online, buying direct, which is great, getting it in your house. But to actually sit down in a comfortable environment, to see the products up close. And the thing I like about Gabe's showroom is not only is it state of the art, it's gorgeous, it's inviting, but he gives you the option to sit in his sound rooms. He puts on whatever speaker you want to listen to, and he walks away. He doesn't precondition you to think you're going to hear X, Y, Z, you're going to hear this and this speaker, you're going to hear that and that speaker. You give the time, right? You give the time for it to listen.
Because at the end of the day, everyone's ears are their own ears, right? I can't tell somebody what they like or what they don't like. So what I do, and this is the one thing I've always learned, put speakers away and just walk away. Let them decide what they like.
One thing I really like too about the store is there's such a diversity of brands from Dynaudio to Focal, Bowers & Wilkins, Paradigm, Anthem, Martin Logan, RBH Sound, JL Audio, and my
Golden Ear.
He's got it
We
all.
have everything.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is we've got some representatives here today that are going to give us some details on the products in the store. We're going to start over here at the Dynaudio area to learn about the products that are offered here at Maximum AV. All right, we're here with my boy Travis from Dynaudio. Travis, how you doing?
Good, how you doing, Dean?
Awesome. So we don't talk a lot about Dynaudio, but I think that should change. I think this is a brand that our audience would like to see more coverage of. Now, you're well represented at Maximum AV. Why don't you give us a quick overview of what we're seeing here with these speakers?
Sure, so this is a Dynaudio corner, right when you walk in at Maximum AV on your left-hand side. So we have, I want to say, let's see, 3 or 4 different series here, actually more like 6. This is our flagship. This is a Confidence series. This is a Confidence 30. Right below that is our Contour I series here. This is a black gloss finish. This is our Evoke. So it's out going into order actually. Right below the Contour I is our Evoke series. These are set by pairs. So we'll move over to, this is another representation of the Contour I series. This is the largest model in the series. It's the Contour 60i. That's the walnut finish.
Beautiful looking speaker. Now, why do you guys put the baffle separate from the cabinet? Is there a reason? Is it stylistic or is there a performance advantage?
There's a performance advantage. It actually helps to reduce the resonance inside the cabinet. So this baffle here is made of a Compexes. It's actually like a really dense, hardened material. So there's not a lot of ringing or resonance in the baffle. It's completely separated from the cabinet, so you don't get a lot of internal resonance in the cabinet. So it's cool looking, but also has a purpose, electroacoustic purpose as well.
So I'll tell you this, Travis. So I think it was probably 4 or 5 CDs ago, so maybe like 7 years ago, because there was a couple that were missed for COVID. I got to hear the active speakers, the towers that you guys made. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen them since, but I was very impressed with that speaker. Do you remember what's the model number? Is there a newer iteration of it now than there was then?
There is. So we did a revamp of the Focus series is what you're referring to. We did a revamp of that series from the ground up. The drivers themselves are completely different. The amplification is made by Pascal, which is completely different.
Pascal is awesome.
Than that we've used before in the past. All the streaming services that we use are the top-notch streaming services in the industry right now. So everything is revamped from the ground up on the new Focus series.
What's the price of those active towers?
$12,000.
$12,000, and now you could just literally pick up your phone and stream right to it.
To me, it's kind of like your audiophile meets all the bells and whistles and user interface of the new age stuff. So anybody who's used to, everyone knows cell phones, they can run the speakers from their cell phones. So there's streaming services available. You can hardwire the speakers in the back digitally and analog. So there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of power from the Pascal application in that system.
You know, a lot of people don't realize the heritage of Dynaudio. You guys started out as a driver manufacturer, and lots of different brands were using your drivers in their designs. And then I don't remember when you flipped the switch to start doing box products, but now you've got a whole family of products at pretty much every price point.
Yeah, we do. And so in 1977, we started manufacturing speakers, and we didn't always build our own drivers, but it was shortly after we got started, we need to control QC and to have a consistent sound that we needed to make our own drivers to achieve that. So from there forward, it was, no looking back. And now we are in the automobile industry. We're in the pro audio world, and here represented at Maximum, we're in the home world. So we're in, like you had mentioned, Gene, many different price points. A lot of people think of Dynaudio as, oh, that's a real high-end speaker. What they don't realize is we start at $500 a pair, and we also have architectural speakers. So we have a good breadth of product nowadays.
I have to tell you guys, in the entire showroom here, my favorite finish on a speaker is this guy. What's the model number of this? What's the finish on it? Because I'm absolutely in love with it.
Yes, so this is in a series of its own. This is called Special 40, and it was for the 40th anniversary of being in business. And there's only one model. There's two finishes. This particular finish that Gene loves so much is called Black Vine. The other finish that's available is Ebony Wave, but I would say, as you would agree, the Black Vine is probably the most popular in that Special 40 series.
And there's other models like Tower in this range, or is it just the bookshelf?
The Special 40 was just a one-off. It doesn't share any driver complement with any other speakers. It was just made for an anniversary speaker. So there is no other model in that series. It's just the Special 40 is the Special 40, and that's it. There's only this bookshelf.
All right, guys, so why don't you give me some comments below? Do you want to see more Dynaudio reviews on our channel? Give us some comments. That way these guys are motivated to send us some samples. Travis, thank you again.
Thanks, Gene. Appreciate it.
Okay. So, Gabe, I got to tell you, I really want to take these speakers home with me.
That black fine finish is amazing.
This Dynaudio is the most beautifully finished speaker in the showroom that I gravitate towards it. As I said before, with the Dynaudio rep, I love it. But let's look over here. You got some Mcintosh stuff over here and some Bowers and Wilkins stuff. I want you to talk a little bit about this area here.
So one thing I want you guys to understand is something at Maximum Audio Video that really separates us from the rest of the crowd, right? Look at this beautiful finish 801D4. This is custom painted by us upstairs in our wood shop.
Oh, wow.
This is something you can't just order.
You did this.
Absolutely. This is actually my business partner did. Let me rephrase that.
Right.
This is something you can't get anywhere else. This is something that we do that you can't get in any place in the country. Bowers & Wilkins 801D4 custom finished for your needs.
So someone comes to you and says, this is what I want, and you go in and you customize.
We can absolutely do anything you need. I mean, look at this beautiful flame finish. This is something you should see on a Harley Davidson. We have it on a beautiful, beautiful speaker, diamond tweeter, beautiful. Oh, these speakers are just amazing.
One really cool thing about this showroom is you got two demo areas for Paradigm, and you've got representation here from Paradigm. So why don't we go talk to them and figure out what's going on in here?
Absolutely. So we have Kyle Del Nero, who's our actual national trainer here, who's going to show you some cool stuff about Paradigm and introduce them to technologies, what makes them different from everybody else.
All right, guys, we are here with my good friend Kyle from Paradigm. How you doing, Kyle?
Good, Gene. How you doing?
Awesome. It's always great to have you on video, at these different events that we cover all the time. So at MaximumAV, what made you guys become so prominent at this store? What's the history that you guys have?
Well, Gabe, the co-owner, loves Paradigm.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he probably has more Paradigm in his house than he does in this room in the showroom.
That's not untrue.
Not only does he love the brands, Paradigm and Anthem, but also he loves gear.
Yeah.
He's an enthusiast. He loves music. He loves movies. He loves playing video games and having great equipment to do it on. So I think that's really what drew him to Paradigm and Anthem initially, was getting great performance in his house. And then it just shows every single time he walks a customer through here, giving them demos, showing off the Founder Series, the Premier Series in this room, the XR11, and actually Gabe won Persona Dealer of the Year back in 2018, our flagship products.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the one thing I love about Paradigm is this different stages of products that you guys have for every budget, right?
Yep.
I really am drawn to the Founder Series. I've heard the Founder 120Hs in multiple demos, and what you guys did to that speaker is magic. Why don't you give us a little rundown of why that speaker is so good? I mean, you got the other ones, you got the 100s here, but the 120Hs, give us the beans on that.
Yeah, they're beautiful, right? Gabe has them in the Midnight Cherry finish. One, I love the finish option that he chose. Also, it has every bit of our core DNA in the Founder Series. It's called the Founder Series because Scott Bagby, the original co-founder of Paradigm, bought the company back into family ownership in 2019, and we released the Founder Series in 2021 as part of that. The really neat part about the Founder 120H pair is it's a hybrid design. So we've taken the heavy lifting off of your amplifier by powering the 3/8-inch bass drivers with a 1,000-watt amp internally that has Anthem room correction. So you can get Anthem room correction to correct critical low frequency response in any environment. And then of course, if you have Anthem on the front end of that system with a processor, preamplifier, stereo integrated amp, or one of our receivers, you get double the amount of benefit because then we can correct all the way up to 20,000 hertz through the Anthem electronics as well.
So if someone is setting up a system that has the Founder 120Hs and let's say an AVM 90 or an MRX 1140 AVR, you're basically recommending you first run ARC on the speaker itself, get that as good as it can with the room correction, and then run ARC on the actual processor?
Exactly. In this system specifically because there's also an XR11 in the room, if the XR11 was being used with the Founder 120H pair, we would start on the bass driver section with Anthem room correction. Then we would run it on the XR11 and then on the AVM 90 over top of the entire system. So we get multiple points of correction on critical low frequency response.
So in a system like this with the 120Hs and the incredible, that little XR11 punches way above its size and weight class. I cannot believe how tactile that subwoofer is. Does this system still run the 120Hs as full range? It gives it full bass to them, and then it also adds the sub on top of that?
ARC is going to pick the best possible solution for your room, your listening environment. So it sets the crossover. So even though we have these big, powerful 3/8-inch bass drivers with 1,000-watt amplifiers on board with ARC, in a lot of cases, we still like to take the heavy lifting off of your speakers and use your powered subwoofer in the room so we get the smoothest bass response at the primary listening position. So ARC will know to do that automatically on its own.
Right. Now, the cool thing about Anthem products is their ARC room correction system. It's just so easy to use. The interface, you guys put a lot of effort into that interface. I really appreciate how intuitive it is. You could set up a system. I always tell people when they're looking at different brands, when they ask, what do you recommend? I'm like, if you're not very experienced with a lot of these room correction systems, they can be daunting. The Anthem one is very inviting. The interface is really great. You could, within 10 or 15 minutes, depending on your speaker channel count in your room, have the system calibrate. And then you go in, and what I found in my experience is I go in and I tweak the bass level up to taste. Or if I want to put a tilt, if there's too much treble in the room, I'll go and I'll tilt it down. But that phase alignment tool does magic. It really does a great job of integrating your LCRs with your subwoofers, which is one of the biggest challenges is getting a multi-channel system working with subwoofers.
For sure. With the auto distance, the auto phase functionality of the new receivers and processors and the STR series, which actually, that's another really neat feature about Anthem, is we build Anthem room correction in-house. So from day one, when a product's being built, we'll know if it's going to have Anthem room correction on board so we can optimize its performance together. And then with products like the STR series, which came out in 2017, when we released the new auto distance, auto phase measurement functionality on the new X40, AVM 70, AVM 90, we were actually able to upgrade customers' STR integrateds and STR preamplifiers with a new version of Arc Genesis to take advantage of the new auto distance, auto phase alignment.
That's awesome. So now if someone can't put these beautiful box speakers in a room, is there an equivalent series for flush mount or architectural type speakers?
Of course. Before we go over there and check them out though, something to talk about on the Founder series is back at CEDIA, when we launched our Founder 41 finishes. Those finishes are now coming soon. They're going to be released in mid-April.
Oh, those are gorgeous.
So we're going to have the beautiful Frostbite Ruby pair, the Frozen Charcoal pair, and the Azure Ice available for customers. And not only all the Founder series models, but also in the XR subwoofers as well.
Oh, sweet, because at the time you weren't sure if you were going to do it with the subwoofer.
It wasn't announced yet. So now, yes, we're going to do it on the XR subwoofers as well. So you can have a full surround sound system with subwoofers in the Founder series and the XR series, and any of those three beautiful finishes on the Founder 41.
All right, well, why don't we go into the dedicated Paradigm theater room that has all the flush mount products? We could talk about that.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are in the premier home theater room at MaximumAV. This room is absolutely gorgeous. These guys do such a cool job with theater design between all the lighting in here, the riser platform, the star ceiling, the fact that it's all automated. When you hit play, the lights dim down. I mean, they've got this room really dialed in. But most importantly is the sound and the video experience. Now, Gabe has a whole Anthem rack of electronics in here. He's got a Kaleidoscape. We were watching Fantastic Beast, I believe, was the demo. And this is all Paradigm. And Kyle, I want you to talk about the products, because here's what I heard. What I heard in here was just a very enveloping sound field. I think it's a 9.2.6.
9.2.6, yeah.
9.2.6 speaker system, and all they had were two XR13s, which again, these subs, they look bigger in pictures. When you look at the insides and they have those dual drivers in them, they look huge, but when they're sitting in the corner here, they're not imposing at all. And when I sat in the back row, I heard very integrated bass. It was very tactile. It almost felt like there were subs behind me when there weren't. I was really impressed with how Anthem Arc did that correction. Now, we were talking about the Founder series now. If you don't have the ability to put box speakers, this is why we're here. And I want you to just give us an overview of the speakers that are in this room.
Yes, this is an incredible theater system. It's a 9.2.6. It can go all the way up to a 9.4.6 because we have the 4 independent subwoofer outputs on the AVM90 that's controlling, and of course the MCA series amps powering the theater from Anthem. So you can make it even more enveloping, adding an additional 2 subwoofers, which I believe Gabe has a plan to do in the future.
Nice.
So you can always improve the performance, adding some more subwoofers on the AVM90. The really neat thing about the speakers that are installed in this room, this is our CI Elite series range, specifically the CI Elite E7 LCR V2s. The new V2 models launched after the Founder series with the materials that we use for the Founder series loudspeakers. So we have the same tweeter, we have the same mid-range driver, we have the same bass drivers or passive radiators depending on the model. So you get that Founder series sound that you can't put on your floor, can't put on a bookshelf, but you need to put it in your wall or in your ceiling. So in Gabe's case, he's chosen the E7 LCR V2 for all 9 channels on the bed layer. And then in the ceiling, to create the Atmos height effect and DTSX height effect, he actually has E80A V2s.
I have those in my family room system, and I've done videos on this before. I love those speakers, man. Those speakers freak me out how realistic I get with the Atmos effect. And because it has an angled baffle, you could direct that sound towards the listening area.
Exactly.
So even if it's not in an optimally located spot, you could beam that sound to where it needs to be in your seats.
Which we're actually doing that in this room. So Gabe installed the E80 AV2s outside of the Starfield ceiling area so they can fire back down towards the primary listening area across the front row and the back row to create the height effect. The other really neat thing about this room is our left, center, right is behind the screen. Mm-hmm. So we've installed it behind an acoustically transparent screen to get great performance in a very concealed application. You mentioned it earlier, the XR13 subwoofers, not only they're powerful, create deep, accurate bass response, but they're also beautiful.
Yeah.
So it really blends into the room nicely because you want to have great high performance bass with a really nice high performance speaker system like this. And a lot of that is actually the cabinet itself. It's the faceted cabinet design, very similar to the Founder series. It helps to slim down the cabinet. It's not just a rectangular box in the room. So it has a really nice style element to it as well.
Well, it's also important to mention, this is some serious heavy-duty drivers in here, right? Because if you're in a small box and you want deep bass, you have to have a driver with a lot of linear excursion, and you have to have a powerful amplifier. What is it, like a 2 kilowatt amp?
2200 watts RMS on the amplifier. So it's a very powerful amplifier, a 13-inch woofer. And we use the same material actually on the woofer in the XR series that we use on the Founder series. Right. So it's our Carbon X material to create a very rigid, very lightweight cone to move very quickly in a perfect pistonic-like behavior to create great bass response.
And this has a dual spider design, right?
It's what we call the trilinear suspension. So push-pull technology to create more excursion, create deeper bass response. I have 2 XR13s. Actually, they're also black walnut, like the ones in this room in my home system. And before correction, they play all the way down to 20 hertz, perfectly flat. Actually, Anthem room correction has to bring down the amount of energy when it goes through the calibration process to ensure that it blends into the system. So I've got deep, powerful, very accurate bass. And in my case, because it's my living room system, I don't have nearly as many placement options for my subwoofers. Mm-hmm. So having Anthem room correction on board, and then also having Anthem room correction in the AVM90 with auto distance and auto phase like we talked about earlier, really helps to blend that in seamlessly to give me the best overall experience.
So again, in this system, you would run the arc correction on the subs and then run arc on the AVM90.
Exactly, independently on each XR13, and then I would run it on the AVM90, so I get multiple calibration points on critical low frequencies in the system.
Cool. One question I have for you about the wide channels, a lot of content doesn't have wide information, right? Do you guys do some type of upmix process to always use the wide channels? Is there an option for that?
We use Dolby Surround Upmixer. You also have access to DTS Neural X upmixing as well within the Anthem product range. There is more and more content becoming available to take advantage of wide channels. Actually, that's one of the coolest parts about this theater, in my opinion. When Gabe was designing it, and you mentioned Gabe does the design work from start to finish. So everything from the carpet we're standing on to the wall treatments to the really cool lighted posters that he has around the room, he's thinking about that ahead of time. And this room wasn't conducive to wides the way that it was originally designed.
Right.
The original design for this room was a perfect rectangle, and he actually added these wide channels in by framing this out.
Yeah.
That's how he created more width from the front speakers to the wide channels to give you more of that enveloping surround sound.
I love this kind of design approach, man. If you guys are looking to do an acoustically transparent screen and put your LCRs behind it, even if it's a smaller screen and the LCRs have to be a little bit closer together, adding those wides on an angle like that really kind of opens things up, especially when you have content that supports it. I think it's a great approach because most people can't put wide channels on the floor and you can't really put them on the sidewalls. It's difficult because most speakers aren't able to angle towards the listening area. So this is really an awesome approach. I want to see more theaters do it. The last thing I'm going to put you on the spot is in a situation like this where this room might be a little space limited in the back, you guys need some in-wall subs that are at the level of these. Is there any kind of pipeline in the future for that to happen?
We're working on some very powerful in-wall subwoofers.
Nice. Are these retrofit or are these before drywall?
So right now we actually have the RBC 12SQ, which has both options available. So you can retrofit the subwoofer or you can use the larger pre-construction back box. That's something we always try to do as a company. And then of course, the RBC 12SQ being the flagship in-wall subwoofer today, that is something that we're looking to improve upon like we always are to create even more performance. And then when you don't have a room where it's a dedicated theater, let's say it's your multi-channel system in your family room or your living room, and you want a smaller form factor subwoofer that has less output than the RBC 12SQ. We have the DCS 208s. We have a fire-rated enclosure version called the DCS 208 FR3. We have the IW3, which is the in-wall version that can either go in retrofit or it can go to the larger pre-construction back box.
Gotcha.
So a lot of options to get great bass with no floor space.
Awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing about that high output subwoofer. I'm sure you're going to be showing that soon.
Yeah. Always working on creating great products.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, I appreciate you dropping the knowledge on Paradigm and Anthem products. This room is impressive. This whole store is impressive, and we're just going to continue on. All right, so we're here with my friend Sean from AMI Sales. I love your company, by the way. We go way back with Ray Miller and Brett Caruso. Good people, really good people.
Well, thanks, Gene. It's a pleasure to be here with you as well. You know, it's always good seeing you. And you do such a great job for the industry. You know, we really appreciate all that you do for us.
I appreciate that as well. So one thing I noticed about MaximumAV is there is a lot of Sony representation. We've got Sony TVs in a lot of the rooms, Sony projectors. Give me a little bit of story about the MaximumAV and Sony connection.
Well, you know, there's a lot of Sony in this building because we're very proud to have MaximumAV and Gabe and his crew. They are diamond dealers for Sony. And when you're a diamond dealer for Sony, that means you're the best of the best and you're at the top of the game. They have the projectors in the room. They have the mini LED. They have the LED. They have the OLED on display. So when you come here, you see a wide variety of TV from start to finish. It's not just trying to sell you one or two models. You can take your pick of what you want to do, and they're experts at what they do, and they will show exactly what the differences are in all the TVs.
Well, and I really have to tell you, in the two different theater rooms with the Sony, I think one has a 6,000, one has a 7,000. The image was really sharp. I mean, they just did such a great job calibrating the systems. And there's not even any post-processing like a MAV VR or anything. It's just actually the Sony itself.
It is. It's great.
Well, Sean, thanks for letting us know about the Diamond Dealer thing with MaximumAV. Appreciate having you on this video.
And thank you. And, you know, people need to come out here and see the new location. It is absolutely gorgeous. Most beautiful setup in the Bay Area. I'm telling you, folks.
It really is. Thanks. So, Gabe, as much as I love home theater and I run a home theater website, I love two-channel even that much better. You know this because we sat at my place and we just sat there listening to music with just two speakers. And the fact that you put this much effort into this room says that you feel the same way as I do.
Two-channel is the heart of what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, when you have a stereo image where the person's right in front of you, you can basically close your eyes and view the band right in front of you. Mm-hmm. It's one of the greatest things of all time.
Especially when you hear sound from the sidewalls because of the imaging is so good, you think that there's surround speakers on. That's when you know you got magic.
Absolutely. So, you know, in this room, we have some of our best brands represented. We have Focal, we have Paradigm, and we have Per Listen. You have a pair of these at home.
Yep.
Granted, yours are a little bit different than these. These are in the beautiful white finish.
Very cool. I've never seen it in white.
Yeah, this is actually, I think, one of the first white pairs that have actually landed in Florida, which is kind of weird because Florida, white speakers in Florida go hand in hand.
True.
We have some of the best electronics in the industry. We have Mcintosh. We have Mcintosh preamp, our render as our streaming platform. We have a tube preamplifier with a nice 300 watt per channel amplifier. So we wanted to showcase kind of some of the best electronics you can buy with some of the best speaker brands you can buy, all in a dedicated 2-channel room. So you can really get that 2-channel experience where the speakers just disappear and you get that experience that is life-changing, realistically. I mean, think about it.
You know what? I could sit down and watch a 3-hour movie or I could listen to really good 2-channel. Most of the time I'll choose the 2-channel experience, man. Just sit back, maybe drink a little scotch or something and just sit back and enjoy and wind down. And that's really why I got into this myself. You know, the other important thing about this room is I just love the design, all these like wood slats with the LEDs and the star ceiling. You provide this service to the customer if they want it, right?
Absolutely. We build these custom fiber optic panels in-house and they serve 2 purposes. They're not just for looks, they're also a functional absorption panel as acoustic panels, basically. As you saw, we showed you our wood shop upstairs.
Yep.
So we do a lot of this for our clients because we want to basically make sure that we want to be a one-stop shop. We want to be able to provide people acoustic panels. We want to be able to provide 2-channel. We want to be able to provide high-end theater. We want to basically be an everything shop in all-in-one.
Yeah, I love it. And you know, guys, when you think about it, if getting great equipment is awesome, but getting the room acoustics right, getting the mood right in the room sets everything, the lighting. You showed me some cool stuff with the automation that you did in the theater room that just blew my mind. And the fact that it's all automated through Savant. You do Savant and Control 4.
Yeah,
right?
so we're one of the only audio video companies on planet Earth that do multiple control platforms because there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all option.
Right.
So we'll do Control 4, we'll do Savant, and we'll do URC when it's necessary, essentially. So
Yeah. So aside from 2-channel, if someone can't put speakers in a room, what about if they want a private listening experience? Do you have an area to do headphone listening?
absolutely, we actually have a headphone experience right outside.
Let's go. Oh, so here we are. So tell me what's going on in this area. What brands do you have? And yeah, give me a
So
rundown
essentially,
of
we
that.
wanted to do kind of a real world kind of environment of headphone listening. So we have a Mcintosh 2-channel, beautiful headphone amplifier, has their vacuum tubes. This is one of the most amazing headphone amplifiers I've ever heard. Powering this system, we have a Sonos port that we just use, because a lot of clients use Sonos as kind of their whole home automation or audio video system. We have a Parasound 2-channel DAC that basically showcases some of the headphones we have. So we have some drop headphones, Aeon, beautiful headphones, something you can listen to, kind of get an idea about. On this side over here, we have a pair of Sennheisers, the HD800. These are one of the best filling headphones I've ever heard. Something that you can put on, you can listen to for hours and get kind of a 2-channel experience like we experienced in our 2-channel room. Something that you can have over your head and get that same experience.
So Sennheisers to me have always been very comfortable. You put them on your head, they don't give you ear fatigue.
You don't even think you're wearing a pair of headphones.
Yeah.
They're some of the most comfortable headphones I've ever experienced. And they sound amazing.
Now, if there's other brands that you want, like say Focal has a really nice range of headphones.
I've already ordered them. They just haven't come in yet. Actually, to be honest with you, one of the best headphones I've ever heard was a pair of Focal Clears.
Yeah.
I was shocked how good they were. Unfortunately, during this video, we don't have time to show them because they haven't come in yet.
Yeah.
They are on order, and I'm looking forward to the day we have them on our actual headphone display.
Oh, awesome. So I noticed on this wall here, you have quite a large sound bar. RBH, my friends.
So I wouldn't call this a soundbar. I call this the mantle. This is something that needs to be over a fireplace. Look at the driver array on this thing. This is one of the most amazing soundbars I've ever heard. Now, soundbar is a coy term.
Yeah.
This is not a soundbar.
Passive.
This is completely passive.
Yeah.
That requires your own amplification, but if you want to get high performance from a soundbar look, something that hangs below a television, but you don't compromise anything, this is a perfect solution for that.
This is an extremely high output passive LCR. So this has very similar driver technology to what's in my SB TRS system. It's got the big AMT motion transformer tweeter, got the 8-inch aluminum drivers. This thing has serious output. He was rocking this place just a few minutes ago. And you also complement it with some bass. You got a 12-inch.
Absolutely. We have a 12-inch subwoofer from RBH. It's one of the most amazing subwoofers I've ever heard. Tight, clean, accurate bass.
And it's not too big either.
Absolutely. It's perfect size. This is something you can put in a room, be confident it's going to give you perfect performance. It's not going to take up the room. You're not going to have floor space taken up, but you're not sacrificing performance, which is a big deal in today's audio video landscape.
Now, this soundbar, or I should say passive LCR system, is it scalable to the size of the TV?
Yeah, what's cool about this thing is they can actually make it to whatever size you want. So up to 96 inches wide. So whether you have a 100-inch TV or whether you have an 83 like we have here on display, you can actually make this size the precise size of your speaker, or I'm sorry, of your television, or you can make it a little bit larger. I put one in my own bedroom.
Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. I want it to look like a mantle.
Yeah.
I mean, and they'll make custom finishes for you. So you can do a wood finish, you can do white, black, it doesn't matter.
Interestingly enough, he got the prototype. So when he got this into MaximumAV, I didn't even know about the product.
This is actually RBH's prototype speaker. They send it to us kind of to see what we think about it here at Maximum Audio Video. And I'm like, this thing is amazing. I want one for my own house. I ordered one day one. I'm like, I need this. Like, I really need this.
Awesome. Speaking of RBH, you actually have a theater room with RBH. Let's go check that one out.
Absolutely.
Wow, Gabe, this is a really nice room. It's intimate and it just looks really stylish, again, with this star ceiling that you custom build in your wood shop upstairs.
Absolutely. So we're one of the only companies on the planet who offer in-house fiber optic ceilings. But one thing we wanted to showcase in this room was we wanted to make it more like like an everyday media room. Like a client comes in and they said, hey, we want to build a theater room. We don't make it look like a real theater, but we want to use it as a multi-purpose room. And RBH was the perfect solution for this.
I have to tell you, I was a little skeptical at first when I sat down because obviously the chairs are close to the back wall and you got a sub to the left and right. First of all, the bass was integrated superbly.
Absolutely.
It was tactile, it was deep, and it integrated well with the front soundstage. A lot of that is because you're running an Anthem AVM 70 or 90?
70. So this room, we wanted to build kind of a scaled down version of our other main theater room.
Yeah.
We wanted to make it sound good, but at the same time be approachable for most clientele.
No, the sound was beautiful in here. The RBH system that you have behind this acoustically transparent screen, you guys know I'm a huge fan of RBH. I've been reviewing their stuff for decades, and there's a reason why, because their stuff sounds good. And what's really cool, what you did here, Gabe, is you've got Atmos in here. You've got 4 height channels, right?
Absolutely.
You wouldn't even know it looking because Gabe did something slick. He made an acoustically transparent starlight ceiling, so the speakers are underneath that. You don't even see them at all.
Correct. We want to give that experience, but we also want to give the aesthetics of the room. So this room here, these 4 speakers that are behind this screen, you don't even know they're there.
No, but the immersive experience that we got, this is a 5.2.4 system.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Actually, I thought this system just blew me away with what it sounded like and the fact that it's so functional. It's meant for a functional room, a multi-purpose room. And I love these movie posters, man. Is this something that you guys did too with the backlighting on the movie?
Absolutely. So one thing I will say, I have a good connection with the gentleman who builds me these beautiful lighted movie posters. So we can get anything done here at Maximum Audio Video, custom artwork, whatever you want done, we can get done for you.
So just to recap on the RBH system, do you know the series? Because I know it has the AMT tweeters. Is it the SI 740s?
So we have 760s around the perimeter of the room.
Okay.
The cool thing that we did, and I know you're going to say something funny about this, but we have a 760 and a 740 serving as a left, center, right. So we have speakers that are actually parallel together to kind of give you that real immersive experience.
Right.
Kind of something that we try to mimic, something that they do in their tower speakers.
So Shane does some pretty cool voodoo when he does these multiple speaker
Yes, he does.
configurations. And I didn't even know until you said that. I just figured I was listening to a large column in-wall speaker because there was a lot of good output. It was very clean. I don't know what amplification are you using in here?
We're actually using a Mcintosh.
That explains it.
Yeah, as a 5 channels our bed layer, and our high channels are served by an Anthem MCA 225. So we're actually using Mcintosh on their bed layer and Anthem as our surround.
So one thing I want to stress is in a theater room, you have to have comfort. And Gabe, you guys have a wide diversity of different theater chair options. I really like these chairs. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So these are Octane theater seats. So this is a company who's actually based in Texas. They build one of the most comfortable theater seats I've ever been in. I actually have these at my personal theater at home. They have great support. I'm a bigger guy, so I need something that has lumbar support, and they have 3 motors per chair. Beautiful Italian leather. They're just comfortable.
Awesome. Well, let's go check out the rest of the store because there's still a lot of cool things to see. All right, so Gabe, I am a huge fan of this setup here. As you guys know, I did a video on the Martin Logan Motion XTs when they were debuted. We did this at Audio Advice. I was blown away by the F100s and the bigger brother, the F200s. We just did a review. You could go read it online on the F200s. Tell me a little bit about the setup that you got here, Gabe.
So we wanted to showcase, Martin Logan, we're huge fans of Martin Logan. These new series are amazing.
The best that they've done yet for
Absolutely.
their own drivers.
I even told my Martin Logan rep, these things are leaps and bounds better than your last series.
Yeah.
And we wanted to showcase them in one of our most premier areas in the showroom. But on top of that, we also wanted to showcase Michelle Gyro Deck SE, which is one of our best-selling turntables. We also have the Perlisten D12S. You're a huge Perlisten fan when it comes to their subwoofers. Some of the tightest, cleanest bass you can get out of a subwoofer. So we wanted to bring this whole system together, running with Anthem electronics with the full Anthem room correction suite, so we can make sure that we can blend these subs with these beautiful tower speakers. And it just sounds amazing.
You know what's cool about the Anthem STR separates is I have these as well. The fact that this product has endured for so long, it's been out for what, 7, 8 years?
Nah, probably around 5, but
Okay, it's been a while.
it's one of the best sounding, there's still nothing better.
Yeah.
For the price point, I have, as I told you before, we go through many vendors. We say, look, if your stuff is better than what we have today, we want it in our showroom. We bring stuff in. If it's not better, we don't bring it in. It's really that simple. This stuff has stood the test of time. It's just amazing sounding.
Well, the thing about this too is the fact that you got this great turntable is you have a state-of-the-art phono preamp section as well, moving coil and moving magnet. So this is a good pairing. You've got great subwoofers here as well. The Martin Logans, you have to hear the Martin Logans. We really like these speakers. It's just a cool little area here. And then you've got more of these chairs here.
These Octane theater seats are one of the most comfortable theater seats you can have. They feel great. These are built for bigger guys like myself. They hold up. They stand the test of time. They have a 5-year warranty. But honestly, I want to go back to this turntable. Captain Analog.
Yes.
Set this thing up. I have never heard it sound so good. Maximum audio video, Captain Analog, one of the best combinations you could have.
Awesome. All right, guys, we are here with my good friend Xavier, Captain Analog. He has a PhD in turntables. Dude, I don't know anyone in the industry that has more knowledge about calibrating turntables than you. I know you're going to be modest on camera, but this guy is the real deal. So let me give you a little introduction about him. He's a good friend of mine. Xavier came to my house, like 4 years ago? Probably 4 or 5 years ago. I have a Marantz TT15S1, and I told him, I love this turntable. It doesn't quite sound right to me. The imaging is a little off. The woofers are moving a little too much. It was a little bit too much rumble, right?
Yes. Subsonic.
He came in with this tool chest. I've never seen anyone carry a tool chest like this to calibrate turntables. I think you spent a good 4 or 5 hours. He had laser devices, lights, cameras on his head, you name it. And I'm blown away. I didn't know there was this much involved in calibrating a turntable. The after effect of him calibrating my turntable was game changing. That Marantz came into focus. The imaging was dead center on this. I didn't know that you can extract this kind of good information out of vinyl. In fact, we did a comparison of Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms, and you brought in the 45, it's got 2 discs, right? And we did that compared to the digital master of it, and I preferred the analog. I'm going to say this on camera. Anybody that dismisses vinyl, if you don't get it set up right, I understand that. But if you get vinyl set up right and you have it matters on the pressing, right?
It really does, yes.
It is amazing. Why don't you talk a little bit about what's involved in your calibrations? What kind of service do you offer for people that are buying a turntable like this beautiful turntable here? What would you do if you came in and you calibrated the turntable for them?
Well, first I listen and I ask to see what is it that they're trying to get out of it, what are they listening to that they don't like, or they think that it might be different from digital. And then I just try to calibrate everything. I go step by step, make sure everything is nice and tight, lubricate everything, clean everything, and then I put some of my gauges in, as you can see right here, and I'm doing your VTA, SRA, everything squared off, because remember, your stylus is supposed to mimic the cutting of the mother of the record. Mm-hmm. So the topology of this and the way you want to set that up is pretty much as close as possible to that cutter. And you have measurements sideways, upwards, and they all have names. And we can get into detail with that if you like. But right now I'm working on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Michelle Gyro SE.
That's a family-run company, right?
Yes, it's an excellent company. It was a pain in the butt to get it all together, but now it's so set up nicely right now. The suspension system on this puppy is unbelievable.
And why is that important?
Because you want to isolate. There's a couple of things that I always look for in a little bit higher end turntables, and it's an isolated motor that does not, if you can see right here, this is actually not touching the plinth or anything. It's all separate, even its power system and everything. And then you have everything isolated in the springs. The suspension system on this is just unbelievable. You can get tons of dynamics and nice, beautiful sound out of this beautiful turntable.
Well, one thing that amazed me is you calibrated my Marantz in my old house, and then you came over to my new house a few weeks ago.
Correct.
And I put it on just a regular table that didn't have any isolation, and you heard the effects of the bass from the speakers coming in and being amplified through the stylus.
It was coming in through your cabinet and transferring through the legs, and you can hear it. You can see the subsonics. One key thing that I always look for when I set up a turntable is I always look at your woofers right here.
Right.
If you get subsonics, you'll see those woofers moving in and out.
Wasting amplifier power.
Correct, and that's called rumbling.
Yeah.
You want to eliminate that. Rather than me trying to eliminate that with some settings on your phono stage, I just try to do everything as accurate as possible, and usually that takes care of it. But there are some, like this wonderful Anthem right here has a really, 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 really good phono stage in it.
Moving magnet and moving coil.
It sure does. I am enamored with the sound of vinyl. It really, truly is just a beautiful sound. It's lively.
Yeah.
It just moves you emotionally, and music is all emotion.
Well, you know, it's the tactile feel of putting the record on, cleaning it. It's a whole process, right?
That's correct.
And then you sit down, like my wife loves vinyl. That's really why I got back into it. She wants to sit down at night, put on a record, maybe pour a little glass of wine, and not skip around music like you do when you stream, because I'm guilty of that. I do that at night when I'm by myself. But when you're with someone and it's a romantic setting and you got the right lighting, it's just a beautiful experience to actually listen to the whole album from start to finish. Now, the other thing too is in my case, in my rack that I have upstairs, I didn't have good isolation from that table. There's products like ISO Acoustics. I just got one in.
And
you told me to get it. Yes. So you put that under the turntable and it decouples it from that cabinet to help reduce that rumble effect that you were talking
That's correct. So you cut that transference of noise coming in from everything has a ping, a noise that you can hear it. And when you have something so delicate as a stylus, even on your particular cabinet, I showed you that when you just go like this, you can hear it.
Yeah.
So it's transferring right through. So on this particular one, it actually has these isolation cones up here that helps it with all that. Plus the spring system that it has here is just excellent.
You know what I love is the fact we're at MaximumAV. This is a state-of-the-art home theater place, right? Multi-channel in every room, subwoofers in every room. Yet Gabe has the foresight to say, you know what, I want to serve the two-channel guy. I want to make sure that there's something for every kind of customer. It's not just about home theater, right? If you're into analog and you want to have that engaging experience, he's got one of the best turntables on the market. Michelle, would you agree?
Very nice.
It's really up there.
It's very nice.
Yeah. So that's what's really awesome about this place. And it's very rare to find a store like this where you could sit down and engage and listen to records. I noticed some of the record connections. He's got Kind of Blue here, which is a classic from Miles Davis.
Excellent record.
Just a great foresight to have the ability to demo and listen to analog recordings. And the fact that he's got preamps. This Anthem is no joke. You've compared it to very expensive, dedicated phono preamps, and it's on par with a lot of those preamps.
It's just completely out of the way.
I measured it. You can look at the STR measurements on audioholics.com. Xavier, I'm going to put your contact info in the video description below. If you guys want your turntable calibrated, Captain Analog will come to you, and he will get you tuned up. That's the whole point of this. You are a good friend of mine. I want to have you on our channel more often to talk about vinyl. Like, I really think it's important to.
Working with Audioholics have been great. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, I think next up we have a Focal rep here, Juan. So we're going to talk about the Focal products that are at your show.
Absolutely. We have a lot of Focal stuff, some of the most amazing stuff. Let me show you.
All right, guys, we're in the premier 2-channel room at MaximumAV. I got my friend Juan from Focal here. How you doing, Juan?
How's it going?
Awesome.
Good to see you.
You know, Juan, we're huge Focal fans. As you know, we've done lots of reviews over the years for Focal at all the different ranges of products. And every time you come out with a new range of product like the Evo X, it kind of blows my mind because you don't expect to get that level of performance and aesthetic at the price. In this room, we're talking Mac Daddy, we're talking the Sopras. Why don't you give us a little rundown of this speaker that's in here?
So this is our Sopra 2 lineup. It's not exactly our top end. This is where we start off when we come off of the Utopia product. So Utopia, you know, obviously we top off at Grande Utopia. We then go Stella Utopia, Maestro Utopia, and then down to Scala. So outside of the Utopia product, we start here in our Sopra. The great thing about the Sopra is that we have our W cones, which is what is available in our Utopia product, as well as our beryllium tweeters. Not the same tweeter as in the Utopia, but it is beryllium tweeter.
Well, each of your drivers are purposely built per model.
Per model. Yeah, we kind of go around in the reverse of what everybody else does. We build a speaker cabinet and then we build a driver for that speaker cabinet. Everybody else pretty much sources a speaker driver, and then they build a cabinet around that speaker driver and the properties of that speaker driver. Mm-hmm. So we do it kind of the opposite way. We purpose build our speaker driver for our cabinet.
Well, you know, this is a gorgeous finish. I know it's not something that's being produced anymore. It's hard to convey it on camera, but when you see a Focal product in a room, it becomes the centerpiece of that room. It's that gorgeous, and it's very wife acceptance friendly. Every time my wife comes into a trade show, she's always looking for the Focal. It kind of gravitates just towards the shape of the cabinet, the contouring, just the meticulous construction of it is really impressive. What finish options can you get now in these Sopras, since this is obviously not available anymore?
Well, we have several lacquer finish options, and we have several wood grain finish options. So this was a limited run series, which is our concrete series. It's actually a plaster that's on the speaker cabinet itself. It's very unique. Nobody else is doing this. It is currently discontinued, at least for this year. It may come back in the future, but for this year, this is one of the only ones you'll be able to see.
These are always fun products to listen to, but I want to get to the more down-to-earth stuff for the average Joe.
Okay.
So let's walk over to the other side of the showroom and talk about some of the products from Focal there. All right, so we're over here on the other side of MaximumAV. You know, we got a chance to hear these speakers at Florida Audio Expo. They had these set up in the 2-channel room with the Evo X's. When I sat down initially, I thought I was listening to the Evo X's because I heard really good imaging, good bass. I got tricked. I mean, I didn't know I was listening to these speakers. Why don't you give us an overview of what these speakers are, and then we'll also talk about the in-ceiling speakers as well.
What we have here is what we call our OD Stones, our outdoor stones. It's a coaxial 8-inch driver with an M-shaped dome tweeter, aluminum tweeter, much the same as we're using in our new Aria Evo X's. So Aria Evo X, we are using the aluminum magnesium tweeter, but it is an M-shape, which was developed from our car audio side. Since we listen to our car audio speakers and off access, we wanted a better dispersion pattern. So our M shape was developed for that. So basically you can have it as 70 volt or low impedance. And then we also have our Latora series up here, which also has an M shape inverted dome tweeter. And
so these are
IP65.
I was just going to ask you that these are outdoor rated. So in a place like Florida where you're dealing with a lot of the weather elements and the beating of the sun, this is going to hold up to the test?
Absolutely. So these were actually developed for the yacht industry. So they are made to withstand marine environments. So marine environment and just humid environments are two very different when it comes to salt water. So these are developed to be very robust and hold up to the elements.
Gotcha. Now, a couple of questions on these speakers. Are these 70 volt or are they low? Are they speaker connection? Oh, so you could do both.
Yeah. So you have a 5 conductor coming out of it, and depending on how you wire it, you either activate the 70 volt transformer on it, or you just go regular positive, negative.
Of course, if you want the best fidelity, you go speaker level if you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's the price on the Stone?
So the price on the Stones currently is $699 each retail. So yeah, they're very aggressively priced for the performance that you're getting.
These are definitely the best sounding rocks I've ever heard.
Exactly.
And I kind of thought that category of product was over. because it was a trend in the like 90s to 2000s where there was a lot of brands doing that. And then it kind of went away. And you guys have brought it back and you made it stylish in the focal way.
I think that's the main element is the styling. I've been in the business for a long time. I've sold those speakers in the past, but they're made out of resin. They're jagged. They don't look quite natural. I think that for today's modern environments that are very hardscape environments, this goes really well because it lends to like that river rock element.
And you got 2 different finish options for it.
3. So we have a sand finish, which is more for if you live in the desert. And then we have these 2 that blend in more for our environment down here.
Awesome. Well, Juan, thanks for dropping the knowledge on Focal. Guys, definitely check out Focal. Give us some comments if you have heard these speakers at Florida Audio Expo because they're awesome. All right, guys, I wanted to introduce you again to Gary. You saw him at the beginning of this video. Gary is one of the top sales guys at MaximumAV. Gary, I wanted to get your impressions about this show floor, about all the different brands that you represent. What's your favorite thing? What's your favorite demo area in here? And give us a reason why.
So whenever a client comes in, we have 7 different listening areas. They're looking for 2-channel audio. Each area has different speakers that we can play. We can pair them up with different equipment. We've even been known to let people bring in their own amplifiers. You know, if they're looking to upgrade to speakers and they've been an audiophile for a long time. Maybe they're looking for a sound signature that they like, they know, and they're nervous about moving on to something else. Coming in here, you can actually plug up your amp. We'll let you listen to your music and set it up on the speakers. And then that really lets you decide what you're looking for. As I know Gabe has probably mentioned on this video, we like to let people listen versus tell them what they're going to hear. So we can go from room to room. We can spend hours. I usually tell people, hey, if it's your first time coming here, grab a friend, plan to come up, you know, eat lunch beforehand, spend the afternoon. I mean, we'll bring you a beer, you know, kick your feet up and enjoy some music. That's how we do it here.
That's really what it's about, enjoying the music more than anything else, right?
Yes, definitely. Enjoying the music, come out, bring kids, let them take a listen and a look at our theater. That's something that's really magical, I think, for families to be able to share their time like that. So, you know, actually building a full room out so that it's got that theater presentation. That's something that we really bring to the table that I don't think other companies can. You know, upstairs we have a full wood shop. We custom build our fiber optic star ceiling panels. So we can really put that, you know, custom touch on your theater environment.
So as a guy that has boots on the ground, that's in here with the products, doing the installs, what's your dream system?
Man, I got to tell you, I've been here for a while now and I do a lot of customer demos and I listen to a lot of different rooms. And, I think where I'm at this point, just for me personally, being in the industry and hearing a lot of different things, and then you gotta factor in budget too, right? I'm in love with the Paradigm Founder series. That's where I'm at. I like these 2, the Focals. These are the Vestia number 3s.
Yeah.
I actually just got a pair for my dad not too long ago on Father's Day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's sharing with family.
He tied that into his turntable, and then I bought him a music streamer, and I sent him that. And I got him turned on to the new music services because a lot of people come in here and, you know, they may be into vinyl, they may be into their CD collection. And I think that in a lot of ways, we're kind of ready to move on into that digital realm of music and music streaming because it started off with the iPods and we had the MP3 kind of format, which even I cringed at. I grew up with tapes and CDs. And once we went to that MP3, I was just like, I know I'm missing a lot, but we've come leaps and bounds in a streaming audio system.
Well, now we have lossless streaming, and you guys offer so many different high quality streaming DACs.
Right.
The Hi-Fi Rose, you have a bunch of different brands that you are representing.
Yeah, it's the Hi-Fi Rose, the R-Render. We've got NAD, which has Blue Sound built in.
Dude, the new NAD M66, I'm telling Gabe he needs to get that into the showroom. We're going to be doing a review on it. 2-channel preamp streaming with Dirac, 4 subwoofer outputs. Looks like a killer piece. I appreciate your insights because you're the guy that's here installing, selling, and you just have a lot of experience in the industry.
Cool. Thanks, sir.
Gabe, this has been an awesome tour of your new state-of-the-art showroom. I really love this. The fact that you're putting so much effort into this for giving customers a good demo experience, but also you're able to customize for whatever people want, whether they're building a 2-channel room or a theater room. It's obvious you have a passion in this industry.
Absolutely. Look, the art of the demo is lost in our industry, right? So is the art of the showroom. people don't have a place to come and listen and experience a lot of things that they can. We want to be able to provide that for our clientele. And look, we're in Tampa, Florida. Not a lot of places around. All over the country, there's very few. We want to be that place. We want to be a destination store.
You know what, guys? I'm going to do more video events here. In fact, we could do little announcements if you ever want to do press events or whatever.
Absolutely.
I want to be here more often because there's just so much coolness in this place. There's a good vibe here. If you get new products in from one of these vendors, I'd like to come in and do a listening, do a quick video on YouTube. Guys, you should definitely come to MaximumAV in Tampa. I'll put all the contact info, the addresses below, the phone numbers. I'll even put Gabe's email address. So if you want to design a system and you want to talk to him, you certainly should do it because this guy, he's been around. He knows his stuff.
22 years of experience.
Yeah. Between you and I, man, we're ancient.
We're old.
Gabe, thanks again for dropping the knowledge. I really enjoyed this experience. Guys, if you like this video, please hit the thumb up, hit subscribe. Don't forget about our Patreon channel at patreon.com/audioholics. We appreciate your support. You get direct access to me if you want to suggest video topics. And until next time, my friends, keep listening. So Gabe, one thing I think you really need in the showroom is you need some gaming, bro.
Bro, we got something better than gaming. Let me show you.
All right, let's see.
We got golf simulators.
Oh, yeah.
And you a 6-iron, baby. Let's go.
Oh, wait a minute. What the heck? I'm a lefty, bro. This is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad. I'm a lefty, so if I miss this ball, have mercy on me. Cinderella story here.
What an incredible Cinderella story. This unknown comes out of nowhere to lead the pack.
Oh, that was not good. Let's try that again. I'm in the
Hold on, you gotta put it on the laser.
Okay. Was that any better?
It didn't even register.
We're done with this. Take that out of the video. All right, so I want to check out this beautiful Martin Logan area. Oh, wait a minute, dude. You got a bar?
Bro, you can't be Mexican without a bar, right?
We have to do a shot.
We have to, dude. Look, Gene, I got some beautiful tequila for you.
Oh, yeah.
This is the best tequila of all time.
What's the brand? What is it?
Clase Azul. You ready for this, Gene?
I am ready.
There's yours. Let me get mine, baby.
Carpe
Cheers.
diem.
Cheers, my brother. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh my God, dude, it finishes. I think this is the best thing in the whole place, man. I'm sorry. I love audio, but come on, that has to be the best tequila I've ever tasted.
Absolutely, dude. Clase Azul, first of all, it's Mexican made. I'm Mexican, so this is the greatest thing of all time.
Holy cow, I feel that. Oh, it just feels so good. Thank you.
The finish is amazing, goes down smooth.
Yep. All right,
Let's go listen to Martin Logan.
All right, let's check this out. Nice rack.
Little Easter egg, just Gary off on the side.
You know what? You should introduce Gary because your mic's closer to him. So if he wants to say anything, he can kind of reach over and
for
you can do the reach around.
Oh, God. Hold on, the armrest time.
Yeah, there you
go.
There you go.
I hired this guy as my lead sales guy to be an armrest. This is amazing.
So this is our Sopra line of product. This is the Sopra number 2.
You like that side better?
Yeah, you notice that? You ever see Seinfeld? George comes in from the right. I got to come in from the right. I can't come in from the left. I only make it one way, man.
All right, brother.
All right, let me know when it's rolling.
I'm rolling.
Look right there.
Put a little Seinfeld bass on there.
Yeah, oh, that'd be great.